Because these people, the Salamicocas, they were out there, and we know first and big man, then at the enjoyment, then they know they go to beach. Then they go to the farm, or at the village, with their colleagues them, then go sit down there, whether they drinking mampama, then they roast their meat, they eat them, then jolly with the people, and then they drive come back to Sunday evening for go work on Monday. Salamicoca was a famous Sierra Leonean, one of the first international actor. We go say Sierra Leone, we don't go act abroad. Not so, T-boy?
Yeah.
As far as I can.
Well,
so
then they get few. Well,
but that was the story.
That was the story. Yes, that was the story then.
It was a popular name, and then people here go. He's not a politician. He wasn't a politician.
No.
He wasn't a military person, but then say side and go keep company along pan and go plan for make coup for overthrow the NPRC2 government or the NPRC government then. Those people were slain, like T-Boy stated, they no side and buried them. Pademba Road Prison, the first statement that came out was the Minister of Information. Remember?
They're in charge of everything and they run all the ministries.
Live. So they interviewed him live. He said on 11 people and don't die, about 13. I can't remember the figure. He gave definite figure. He said rioters them. And then make. So now they shoot them. Later we learned that the Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs been don't go na Pademba at 3 o'clock morning, according to Ion's or the former women's leader Ion's statement. Say, hey, now Lima and first come, then Mr. can join them back by 5 o'clock morning. Lima not a work na prison. You might be a minister, but you're not a security expert.
Well, I mean, man, sometimes feels say that make a security experts.
Well, again, that justify the point. Say during the NPRC days, when I declare everybody they do what you want for do. Well, is it the same thing happening now, where everybody they grab and just do what you want for do? 3 o'clock morning, according to Unayon account, that you were there doing what? Doing what?
Stabilizing the situation, according to them.
Right. The women's leader of the SLPP, then Fatma Tasawane, you know they work in a government. She's not a security personnel. You know they work in a prison. What were you doing at the Pademba Road prison at 5 in the morning? A place that's supposed to be what? A maximum prison. What were you doing there? Then the minister, then this, that, they kill. So you say 12 people, 13 people, 30, they will not know the figure. How many people died? And then take them, then bail them, then go throw away them, then go bury them. Just like that. And we don't see this as well. Just for say, it's not an accident.
Oh.
It was deliberate. But to what benefit? That's my question.
Well, I can't say much on this anymore because I think I don't exhaust all the areas of possibilities of voting go wrong or voting don't go wrong, and the act of the particular press statement and what it mean. And after we don't look at them properly and we don't use some of the words that we didn't use from the press statement and we don't actually break those words down. Now either we they lie or then know what they know better past what we they say. But sure. according to the interpretation of what they write, I think it just states clearly say they either don't know what they're doing or they know what they're doing but they don't give a toss, and then they do it exactly the way they want and they don't care about the repercussions or the consequences. But like I said earlier on, we are now living in the state of accountability for every government official, because for the fact that you're there to be serving us, you're not going to make us victims. Just like you're victimizing us and you're telling us that we'll be given a dignified burial and will be compensated 20 million based on the rates or based on the situation of how we died or waiting at the cause of we death, which is still unknown, and the bodies hasn't been identified by family members. We don't know who is carrying what corpse or what grave. Again, I ask a question, you say, look, we play the video. I think the video will be ready in about 5 minutes time. But I think when we watch that video, I have a question to ask in regards to that video, because what I saw are some, I don't know whether these are reality of victims, real victims.
Hold on, only question of play them, so at least the viewers then say will get benefit for see them, so we'll discuss them together.
I totally agree with you, because the question I asked, but some of those videos it's a lot, and it's a shame. It's really a shame for Lake we get a nation. We are loving people. Sierra Leoneans, we are loving people. Sierra Leoneans, we are down to earth. Sierra Leoneans, we have religious tolerance. Sierra Leoneans, we do almost everything. We might hate ourselves that much when we compete at some point in time, but I think the
we
only
don't even hate ourselves. Hate is a strong word. We go possibly, be in high, competition. My one win, and we'll disagree at that time. But we know the hate.
Yeah, well, when I say hate, now the rate at which we sometimes go on for escalator, it will look like. But we haven't seen, what I agree, we haven't seen any hate crime in Sierra Leone. And hate crime is something that relates to something that is awful to individuals. I think the worst of what we've seen in Sierra Leone that will go closer to hate now when we look at politics and how politicians then they behave now, not then, but how politicians then they behave now in terms of the amount of hates and grievances the way they put across, either between themselves or between themselves and the people the way they actually govern, or they actually select them for be politicians. So it's rather unfortunate for look we find yourself in the situation we find yourself so right now, because sometimes it's sad. We sit back and look at our right and left hand side, who we see is another Sierra Leonean who is possibly related to us in a way or another. Yeah, so we have to be very mindful of how we perpetuate some of that kind false information or hate what they actually generate to we own community, which is wrong. Please look to get a thumbs up if the video is ready to be aired, so at least we'll go able for the video.
So why should they wait for that thumbs up there? In this instance, now wait till they see. So is it a sign of say, well, the writing at the wall now for say government against the people, government versus the people?
In actual fact, yes. If you are in any way, shape or form questioning the current government, you are an enemy of the state. Regardless who you are, regardless where you are, regardless what you do. You don't have to disagree with them in any way whatsoever. The sooner you make a statement that is not in favor of the current government, you are an automatic enemy of the state. No question asked. Either you will be arrested, they will send a warrant for your report or arrest. They will ask you to come to the police station, CID, and make a statement. They will find a way to intimidate or physically assault you, or physically arrest you, or physically do something to you that will be a direct reference of your actions or your statements or something that has happened that you are in disagreement with the current government. I totally agree to you to say, yes, if you are not with us, you are with the enemy. And the enemy is somebody who is not in support in what they do. Even within SLPP, you can still be the enemy. So it's not just about you don't support them because you're not SLPP or because you're APC or because you're not in government.
So the moment you disagree with their
you are an automatic
process,
enemy.
their actions, you say anything contrary to what they say or do, means you are against.
And that is not just political. It is it cuts across board. Political divide, religious, friend, everything. Even within themselves. When you disagree with one of the powerful, the strong people that are involved in governance, you are against them. It means you are the enemy. They will either exclude you or they will take you out of the mix. And you will be an outsider automatically. We've seen it already anyway, so it's not like something new.
So you have to toe that line in agreement.
You have to toe a specific line, not that line. You have to toe a specific line. There are certain people you should never disagree with. Not all of them, but there are certain people in governance that you should never disagree with. And we've seen the actions of people that are disagreeing with certain people in governance. And I will possibly name 5 after we watch the video. And those are the people that you can't really touch. When you touch them, you've touched the president, and you'll be sacked or you'll be excluded. Or you will have a boundary of your interaction with anybody in governance. Of course, if you are in the opposition, it's worst. If you are not in politics, it's worse. You will not be able to engage or do business. If you're a lawyer and you don't support their cause, you will not have cases in Sierra Leone. If you don't be careful, they will buy you
or you'll be locked up.
You'll be locked up. So if you're a doctor, they will send you to Kamakwe to serve in a clinic that doesn't even have a bed to punish you. So they will do anything anyway.
Let's watch the videos. Fabulelo, watch them video here and see some of the action that we'll comment on them as we go along. Over to you.
Our wickedness, bro. Wickedness. Why we cannot see the body? What's up? Who's can witch animal? Who's can witch animal? Who's can less government this, bro? Who's can wicked government this? But not gonna make for God's sake close to the body now. No, 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 whether they can put inside. Who's can wickedness this? Who's can wickedness this, bro? Who's can wickedness this, bro? Who's can lucky wickedness this? Who's can lucky wickedness this? What have for somebody?
The plan is wrong. We have to own it. We don't do it.
Yeah, don't go so.
Hello? Hello?
I'm not sure about
No, nobody identify the body then for we. How you gonna know say that young person this way die? That can represent. Who's kind of wickedness this man? Hello? Who's kind of wickedness this? Hello? Yes. What are wickedness, bro? Who's kind of wickedness this? Why would no? That's you. No. Why they will come and people are not sabi the body? Patience for us. Now 2 persons they allow them to go. Let me tell you inside. Wait. So for pet soul. Inside.
Timo, you don't watch the videos? Yeah, I know they hear you. All right, Famulem, these videos now videos them whilst I try to forget Timo in audio feed. The videos they will see, they speak for themselves. They show Nadi being gone, and then snippet of the activities, say that they beg the people away. According to government, now victims of August 10th protest. So, Tiboy, what's your what are you take so far on the 3 videos that we see?
Plenty. I have many takes and many questions to ask. Again, to me, the video is a mockery to the dead. That's one. And it's like you're celebrating burying people. It doesn't show any form of respect. It doesn't show any form of dignity. They were buried like people who are infected with contagious diseases. They were buried like people whose remains has been, what would I say, whose remains are of serious concern. You know, when you say this person don't die but in body don't well, they not possibly don't preserve them properly. So basically the ones who were burying these people that are meant to be, we're supposed to be a dignified burial, it just proved to say it wasn't. And anybody within the way protective gears for bury, PPEs for bury, it means it is not a safe burial for the people who are going through the process itself. And again, my other question is, there were already existing graves, and the way these graves were laid out, are all is what the question I want to ask.
Sorry, I know they get you audio they break.
Me audio they break?
Yeah, so they get you now. Go ahead. Wait now, your question.
Me question what they ask now. There were many other graves where already been dead. Teams of this government or existing already there for unmarked burials, because that is what it looks like to me. Is this a specific burial ground for people and we then they bury in this particular area where governments they bury? So it looks like a government mass burial graveyard. I don't know whether it is or it's not. What do you think?
Well, I honestly don't know that area in Waterloo, but them name and Bolima, being gone or cemetery in Waterloo. So I don't know whether victims of the Ebola, were buried there, whether not the same place then go bury the people that were there massacre at Pademba Road prison. I don't know. You understand, T-Boy? So I honestly don't want to comment on that because I truly don't know whether that one is specific for government or every community can go bury it. But this is my question. Will you get some feedback, Tona?
Yeah, okay, go on, go on.
This is my question. This time it comments when I look at the videos. Firstly, the 2 last videos that we will show try for contradict within the government public notice say we are in full agreement with the family for the state-led funeral and all of that. But we see where the family confirm, the family members or people that were present, narrating to say, one, they not give them the opportunity or see their loved ones them. They're not able to identify the corpse them for know whether or not them family members them, then they actually go bury and who that's then they bury Insai. So that none of that was done. So what is the agreement? Because if you have an agreement with someone, agreement when I don't buy is binding, then they come out and can protest. Because that was a protest to say and expressing, say these things were not done and it is very unfair. So why did you bring us here in the first place? So did you tell them something that no more una go then go show na all then why una carry and go there in the first place? That's the question they ask. Then we look at the one the way they beg. There's a question out, of suspicion or some kind of conspiracy theory out there say Now empty coffin there. And the reason we can bring that up for a few things. One, we know about burying. See, boy. You don't attend Roku burying. I have attended a lot. We know where they get a casket. We get dead body. What happens around that? When you get 6 strong man then, where you end up now then shoulder force. 6 strong man then. Right? You just see the struggle or pull from one point to another. So, but we saw people, I can't go to other things, but we saw people tossing a coffin just like that, like a plaything, 4 people. The other one, now I will say the coffin with the other thing with the other hand. We saw that. So
I gonna say swing.
Exactly. Well, there's swing and toss around. So is this the reason why people have this conviction or doubt, say, you know, these are nobody be inside and not anybody not in an empty coffin them? That's one. 2, the other serious part, T-boy. Traditionally, in Sierra Leone, and you mentioned it earlier, they will decide who that they touch your body, who that they this. But we saw women carrying a coffin and actually conducting the burial. Because
it never happen even in Christianity or in Islam.
Thank you. One day in the history, that is one place where in 50-50 no day.
Yep.
You know, the one day, and that's for protection, because they say the women are weak at sex, they get emotional, and all of those kind of things, right? Generally force. If na woman die, then they perform the rite outside and supposed for performer, possibly outside for dress you know, make that kind of thing. But when it comes for the burial, the men take charge. They will put the woman then at the front, now the motor car and sit down, but when they reach now being grown, now man then they take charge. Right to the woman and sit down, but that's not Christianity force. Muslim on the other hand force. You don't get that. Women not even go now being gone, let alone at the grave side, let alone carry that corpse and say now then they commit her.
Sure.
So those are 2 things. 1, the suspicion, then 2, the disrespect if actually corpse then did it. 3, T-boy, when you're doing a dignified burial, there is a process when you are at the graveside, both for Christians and Muslims.
Yep.
Did any of that happen?
Well, not to
so those are
our
my
own
3
eyes.
observations.
Eh?
I said I mean 3 observations in that.
Well, you 3 observations are on point. And the one major concern of you 3 observations now the burial rites of the people and really proceed with the burial. We see possibly a handful or more than women carrying one specific coffin. I could say maybe 3 out of 6 or 7 people will be all a coffin day. And the 2 were not actively involved. They were even laughing around whilst they are carrying the coffin. And to me, that's not concern. But you highlight 2 key things then. One, woman, they need to participate in burial in Sierra Leone. I've never seen that in my entire life. And I go say with authority between myself and the Sierra Leone media team, we've possibly covered hundreds of burial in our entire career. I go stay with they do a minimum of 20 burial a year. Minimum. And during COVID, we did more than that.
Yeah.
So I know
like
for
every
sure.
other kind of thing. Yeah.
I know for sure. And me self don't participate in some burial rites. There is some time I go carry the coffin, I go help for carry the coffin. I haven't been asked, I have never done any ritual burial or any burial of any type where sometimes I will go na the grave, go down the grave, Muslim burial or all the corpse for put down. I've never done that. But I have carried coffin and I know the weight of a coffin. They can always say daily body heavy, not so?
Yeah.
So, is that one of the reasons why they even allow women for carry daily body?
That's
because they might not have the strength to carry it.
Presence. Yeah.
Thank you. So, how on earth you see women in the actually actively participate in this dignified burial of them people there? That's a very good question, like very good observation, Juma. I didn't click on that, but it makes so much sense for me. I realize now, say, oh, that's true, you know, women were involved. And we all know, say, that's now one thing where women know they take 50-50 pa. They have never complained in any way, shape, or form in the entire history of Sierra Leone, say, then discriminates against them. Now they being gone. Now, sir, for even accept them, they have agreed, say, well, okay, we go come after una don't beg down. Muslim way. Yeah. Christian way, yes, they will be around the graveside, but they will not actively involve carrying the corpse with inside the coffin. But Muslims now, they will say, okay, una stay from a distance, where they don't bury the body down, una can come now and pay una final respect. Una self can read una own dua, una self can lay una own read, and una say goodbye to the loved one. But you will not participate in carrying that coffin or carrying the body to the grave. No woman not in this country where I ever see that's alone. We don't claim discrimination. That's idea. Never. Never.
Even
so,
when a young person die, either in Pekin or in man or
it no matter self who that die.
Yeah.
We not ever see any woman
or even because alone. Of death self, how he dies self.
Juma, they say we have never, we not ever see that it don't happen. So that's now one unique experience. And the only reason we made that it happen now the disrespect and the value way they not get for either it be say nobody not been inside the coffin, so they don't really care who carries it, or then no say somebody inside the coffin, but they don't really care and respect the person with inside.
No, just
anybody can bury them, but don't just go back there no more.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just the way.
Of. Yeah.
And even when we see the burial of the victims of the Pademba Road prison massacre, women will not be involved.
Yeah.
Women not been there. Then work them PPEs them, but women not been there. So why on earth this one? So that good observation. Yeah? And the second one we say maybe nobody knows the coffin. Of course, coffin the heavy. The box alone self you cannot carry it just like that. Because the box self get weight. So if the coffin being get body inside, it not the swing so. The only way how body they swing now, they say the body no one go. Not so?
Yeah. Yeah, they twist and turn.
Yep.
And we know the
they will say this person no one go. So they make it a great struggle for me to carry them. But you don't swing it like that. Because there is always something inside that is we need to even respect and self, you need to even make it swing. So basically you are robotically moving with that body. I don't understand the concept behind that. But you make very clear observations of them two things, and I believe say it's very important for make people and watch the video back and see exactly why such practices happen.
Some of the pictures are even worse, T-boy. When you look at the pictures, you look how the coffin them, where them put, how they lay them. You don't say this dead body not there because you dey try for put on some side way steady.
We're flat.
We're farm.
Yep.
Yeah, we're flat.
Yeah.
But you take I go put if that it's on up by you.
Because some of them they're on top hips.
Exactly.
And the hips and they're just not the edge.
Right. And you get dead body, okay, comfortably inside the truck, then sit down on top the coffin, then like that.
Yeah, can you imagine?
So this is another thing, and that's the reason why I made a reference to the massacre, the protest where they happened, the May 8th protest during the Tijan Kabari regime, where they kill them people. See, boy, those people died and they were kept for about, I don't know whether 4 weeks or so. When you go there, when you go to the place, you go no say people then die, where they keep na mortuary for more than a week. No, the odor and things like that. But with this, you will be laughing with people that they don't keep for over 2 months. Na salon, mortuary, where they don't keep for over 2 months. You see, don't they laugh, and they joke. So.
Juma,
yeah.
I just freeze one of the video, then we will make mention, say, woman then carry. Now 5 women then carry that body, it's not possible.
Exactly.
One at the front, one at the side, then 3 at the back, we know all nothing. It's not possible.
Yeah.
It's just not possible.
Right.
And the woman waiting at the front self, not even. The woman waiting at the front self, not even the look outside it they go.
That make I tell you, say, you know, now the
Come
other
on,
one night all with.
How you go respect the dead? You sit up and coffin. Which you don't ever see person sit up and die man coffin.
Exactly. Even one of the transport and inside, so una where they be na team up na the side.
Can you imagine?
People are not they sit down on top coffin.
You don't ever see person sit up and die man coffin. Ah no, come on. This is way beyond reality. Way beyond reality. I'm not able to justify this in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. Seriously.
And you call this dignified. So,
well, dignified in their own words, but not in the words of what's in the meaning of the word dignified mean anyway.
So, in all this, T-Boy, what is left for the people of Sierra Leone, the victims? What do you think, say? Because there's this ongoing perception, you know, or ongoing thing. We don't do and I don't do. Which one I get for you? If now I go dig there, just like how one person been tell one of we viewers them earlier, you know, I can't tell we say if the viewer wants Lego police. So it means like we've done what we want to do. Now go police.
Now both case. Apparently.
Above case.
Well,
yeah.
I can always say they are not just saying it, but they are actually putting it in action. And we don't see that happen repeatedly over the past couple of years. We see them happen during the Pademba Road riot. We see them happen in Tombo. We see them happen in Makeni. Again, repeatedly, they've done it and nothing has come out of it. So, they are going to continue to do it, and they think nothing is going to come out of it. But how old soldier need to die in a war? Now, so case no they got in the war. Because for as long as there are evidential facts, for we open a closed case, there is always going to be something that will reopen those cases. There is always going to be something that will ignite the actual investigation of those people that were buried. And if it wasn't true, that people they wouldn't say they're buried. Now then they're buried. If there is no record of it, then they need to show exactly who said they're buried, the people they say they're buried. We left too many unsolved crimes to go away in Sierra Leone. We for begin to revisit some of them unsolved crimes they are so, because some of the perpetrators are still living with us and they have the potential to still commit more crimes because they are going to get away with it. They have got away with it before and they always think it will be the same thing going forward. So I think the reality shock of what you for bring calm to the people of Sierra Leone, that the fact say some of these things should not go down just like that and we forget about it and we say, oh, let's move on, a peaceful country. Yes, we are peaceful, but we have to hold certain people responsible for their actions. Otherwise, the peace we will always talk about no go ever reign in Sierra Leone, because we still have people who are upset, angry, and gutted about the way how APC be don't behave to them 20 years ago, about the way how SAPP be don't behave to them 30 years ago, about the way how things be don't go wrong in their favor 20, 30 years ago. We still get a grudge there. So until we deal with those situations, we will hold certain people responsible and serve time if they have to serve time, and accept the guilt of their actions and apologize publicly, then maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to be in a position where we'll let go some of them things there. So, because we still get grudge for the Bambe Camara killing, we still get grudge for the in Salamikoka killings them, we still get grudge for the Aruna Jalo killing, we still get grudge for the people who are killing Atumbo, until people then hold them responsible for their actions they are. So we no go just get peace. Somebody get for being responsible. We see couple of some time ago there was a video out of PW Botaway, now been the pioneer of apartheid in South Africa. Before he died, he made a public apology for all the atrocities that were caused to black people. They had a unit specifically responsible for organizing black against black. Yeah. They apologized for all of that. And South Africa will not just heal overnight. They are slowly healing. That is why they still have the amount of hate. We're still not done yet. Because apartheid was a system that was run for decades. It is not just going to go away just like that. It will take another 50 years for apartheid to be totally, possibly, acceptable within the range of South Africans, because it means a whole generation of the apartheid existence has either passed away or gone to the age of retirement or don't old. We're not going to get that active movement there again. Apartheid will not end, but it will be a new generation of South Africans that now we go feel say, well, disadvantages were against us 50 years ago, but we are now the new generation of South Africans. So it's equally the same thing when it happened to Sierra Leone. But nobody was held responsible for all the Dogbausu days, for all the days of the war, for all the times of the past government that we don't cause so much atrocities to the civilians and people who are innocent as alone. We still don't sweep them under the carpet and we live with the guilt and the grudge. If we're not able to hold certain people responsible for those actions, and if we jail them, we jail them. If we need them for make public apology, they made those public apology. For like we accept, say yes, we don't agree. Let's move on. We're not able to heal. And we're not able to fend that justice. They will always prevail, so we want. Because if we have a corrupt system in existence for 40 years and we still breed corrupt young generation of Sierra Leoneans, we still have another 50 years of corrupt generation we go come. Because we don't live with the past 50 years of corrupt generation, and then they breed we now for make we become the next corrupt generation for the next 50 years. It's not going to end. So therefore, really consider some of we actions them, and we take some responsibility of we actions. We are all human beings. We're liable to make mistakes. We do wrong things then. Sometimes we have to accept some of these wrong things then before we can even move on. What I was like 20 years ago is not the same person I am today. What I used to do 20 years ago is not the same thing that I'm doing today. My lifestyle 20 years ago will not hold me responsible for what I am right now, because my life 20 years ago was different. I was involved in so many different activities that where not to everybody go agree with. But I will say for now, my activity that I'm involved in is totally different from my past 20 years. Is it better or bad? I think it is better. As far as I'm concerned, I think I am in a different generation of what I see nowadays. So we got to look at the past and look at Usa who don't come out. What in the correction they will don't make Usa don't come out for Usa will they go? For the fact say I agreed within myself, say some of the things that we do 20 years ago were not good, and I accept them, I change them. I not go back for today. But therefore begin think about some of those things. Because the current presidents who we get, in activities 20 years ago doing MPRC is exactly the same thing that is happening right now. So what's the difference? But for the fact say he was not held responsible, he did not make a statement to say, I am sorry for some of the atrocities that are being laid upon the government that I was serving in. And you still get many of them people within the government right now. It's like business as usual. Let's finish what we did not finish 20 years ago. That is what is happening now. Because we did not hold nobody responsible. Because if we have held some people responsible, some of them will not be in government right now. Some of them will not be serving right now. Because either they must have been banned and will have been taking those things very seriously for them not to participate in active politics, or for them not to participate in governance. Because you must have suffered the consequences of your bad actions then. That will not permit you to have any kind of power, because they know you have been part of the set of people that have abused power in the past. That is the punishment you bear. But we are now, they say the righteous suffer for the wicked. They have victimized that set of people that we right now don't die with, some they still alive, but they perish. And then the one that really actually actively involved in those sort of crimes are now enjoying the privilege of government. So what are you going to do about that? Nothing. And we sit back and keep our mouth shut with ears and close our eyes and say no to business, I wait for let me tell me each. It is not going to change. Because we are not in agreement of what we have accepted. We don't actually see the right people and for don't face the right cause of the justice that they have denied certain people. And we're still giving them the opportunity to continue to inflict harm on civilians. When I expect we for Sudan who don't see what happened 20 years ago, not been fooled. In that sense, we are aware, we have the knowledge, we knew what happened. And you know, they Sudan back again, say, look, we left and no more like it happened. We can give Madabio, the president of Sierra Leone, another 5 years in governance. But guess what? Are we actually going into a sinking ship that is going to drown every single one of us? Or we're going to give him the chance to say, okay, fine, no problem, take another 5 years of change and change what you want for change now. We have a government that is accepting failure and they should repeat. Come on, are we serious? Now, UK government don't change 3 prime ministers in the space of 3 years or 5 years. 3. The shortest serving prime minister in history just resigned yesterday. Why?
Is it
because
40 days, 40 or 44 days?
Can you imagine why? Because she cannot execute her agenda within a shortest period of time. That doesn't make her weak. That doesn't make her not a good leader. But guess what? She cannot deal with the pressure. And she decided to quit. There's somebody who is capable enough. She has owned up to her irresponsible governance that she puts together, regardless of whatever happens. And a couple of weeks ago, Sierra Leoneans were happy. People in SAPP were happy, singing the hymns of saying, oh yeah, we don't get to bother. Even myself, I was happy. So say yes, we have a Sierra Leonean in governance. A foreign minister that will possibly seek the interest of us. How long did he serve for?
2 weeks maybe?
Well, he might
days.
still be there, but her leader has gone. Whoever is going to take charge is coming with
We'll
give
decide
us our own
whether
team.
to retain him or...
Thank you. So these are the realities of politics. Yes, we know they say nothing that happens in the world is safe. The world is not safe. The world is not safe at all. There are issues happening all over the world. There is crisis happening all over the world. But guess what? We still receive funding from the West. Even though the West, they suffer economic disaster, but they still they fund we.
And they're showing that they're trying to deal with their issues.
Thank you.
But we are using
that is their
what is happening in the world.
responsibility that they've taken upon themselves for saying we will support third world countries. And we they make we situation so bad, like for say we not even get a penny to survive. But guess what? we have an economy and they are still funding our economy.
Right.
So we are making ourselves destitute for a reason. You feel to say suffering is not the alternative world? Of course it is. But we serve the suffer, but at the same time, then they give him money back for make we not suffer. And we get people away sit down in authority, they hold that money there and just share them to a very few. And claim say the world get problem. The world get economic crisis. You know, see even the UK government not stable. Is your governance stable enough to have the president to resign because of the failure of his ministers? No. We don't have the balls to do that. Because we are not women. No, because we don't have the balls to do that. We're not taking responsibility of our failures. We're not taking responsibilities of our successes. We're just casting the blame on people. So we got to begin to understand, say, we got to begin to understand, say, when you take responsibility of your action, doesn't mean you have failed. And there is nothing wrong in failing. When you fail, it means you have to learn from your mistakes and improve next time. But only if you've been given that opportunity. We might have Boris Johnson next week, next month, next year. Who knows? We might have him again. Who knows? That's the beauty of democracy. He resigned, and then somebody else took over, and then he is now the second contender to retain power again. Why?
Yeah.
So let's look at all these practices of the West that we so claim that we are following their footsteps, whether good or bad. And we don't live by their expectation. And we think we are copying the best of what we think we do. A couple of days ago, Femi, they tell me, say somebody they will talk to in Liberia, he says around a big village. Indeed, Sierra Leone is a village. When you look at developing countries in West Africa, Sierra Leone is a village. A few days ago, we were having a bitter argument about airport systems in the world. I was complaining to say, no, Salon Airport, you find past Gambia Airport and say you did talk rubbish. That's the reality of what I saw then. No? So basically, who side we dey? Who side we go? Who side we come out? As a nation, this is the 20th century, for God's sake. We don't even go beyond now. Gen Zs. How many Gen Z we have in Sierra Leone? Possibly we don't even have the knowledge of what is Gen Z in Sierra Leone. We don't. If you ask any young Sierra Leonean right now who is supposed to be under the category of Gen Z, then go ask you what do you mean by that. That's how far behind we are. We are that far behind. When you get a Ministry of Information where they struggle for put together a simple Facebook program, and you know even organized with all the equipment and all the resources and all the finance we get, if they do Facebook like everybody else. Excuse me? Where are your resources, for God's sake? Who say they put her? We rather make una develop the country, una squander the money in developing the country than una squander the money and put in the country 20 years back compared to outside the world day right now. Guinea may have lost their former president, but guess what? They say he invest all the money where it's if na Guinea, inside Guinea, by building what? 5-star hotels. That's the one thing where they glad for them for. We they claim say Englishmen in the go rip we country in Europe. Who say they bring any money na Africa, then they can build them country. Like we go thief all side of the world. Look, we take outside, look and build we country. Because we build we country, we build factories, we build everything, we will become self-reliant at some point in our lives. We go for come back and say, okay, let's give back to our community. We don't get a factory where they make clothes, where they manufacture clothes. Okay, let us go open factory where they sew clothes because they manufacture fabric. Okay, we don't open factory where they manufacture machinery. Okay, let us go. Okay, we don't get factory where they mine iron ore, where they mine XYZ. Let us go open factory where go for use this raw material for make something where they come up from we country. Liberia been they do rubber plantation. Guess what? They have factories in Liberia where they manufacture rubber equipment, then plastic bowls, plastic bags.
If I'm not to the Sierra Leoneans, they go buy and
Thank you. So that's what I'm saying. So we have a nation where they keep a blind eye to everything when it comes to development. We get the resources, we get the financial capacity for develop certain ministries and industries. But they do nothing about it. They only develop themselves. And few others within the call say that they are so responsible for developing the country. So we can go on and on and on and on. On today's program, we're specifically talking about the people in William Bay on the 16th. Is it the 16th?
17th.
On the 17th. We then call victims of the August 10 protest. But guess what? The press release no match nothing we didn't see in regards to that particular dignified burial we didn't see them give them. So as citizens, as Sierra Leoneans, let's think. Today, now them don't fall victim. Tomorrow it can be any one of us. So if we sit back and don't say nothing about it, if we sit back and accept it, if we sit back and not challenge some of the authorities them and the actions they went and display so far, what else do we have to say? It doesn't matter whether SLPP is in a government for another 10 years. It doesn't matter whether APC come back again in the next election. Some of these issues has to be dealt with away from politics. Otherwise, we will not have a solution. And the problem is not politics. Like nobody not fool you. Then they use politics as an escape route for cast their problems. Because not to politics, they stop them from executing their duties. Now their incompetency and their failures in their actions. Then they make the need to execute their duties well. Because governments all over the world, in the UK and America, they have the resources. The UK government get the potential for loan $30 billion from the Central Bank of England, or £30 billion from the Central Bank of England, and pour them into the economy. Just for what? For let people able to buy things, for let people able to get financial stability and invest, and pour them back into the economy. Do we have that in Sierra Leone? No. But with the crisis, the country bad off. With the crisis, economical disaster all over the world. But the one they really found, we get serious economic disaster. Fuel crisis, they happen here. Gas price don't go up. Electricity don't go up. Food don't go up. But guess what? People still have their jobs going. Some people have slight increments. Some people they get financial support from government institutions. Some people they get tax break. Some people they get tax rebates. Some people they get concession. Some people they get private investment into their businesses. Some people they get business loan from government and public institutions. So these are some of the things that they're doing to minimize the risk of poverty, to minimize the risk of chaotic environment, to minimize the risk of chaotic society where everybody will rise up and say today we protest with the Chinese government because they're rubbish. They put things in place. You don't have to be a politician. We are not politicians sitting down here talking about some of these things. We're only seeing these things and learning them from the examples of the West or the examples of other African countries, the way they try to do as much as they can. But then go say, oh, Ghana is difficult, and Ghana is Africa. You know why Ghana is difficult? Because Ghanaians have and they want to maintain it. That's all it is. If the economy does rise to a certain level, and then all of a sudden it fall down to zero, it will be a financial crash for them. So they have to maintain the stability of their economy. So yes, they will increase prices in so many different areas, but guess what? They have a working society. People are earning. Yes, they might not be earning enough to sustain their livelihood, but they are earning enough to pay their rent and pay their bills. Very important. We don't even know whether they're supplementing with some of the other issues that they cannot even afford to pay for. We don't know whether they are supplementing in education, in transportation, in fuel. They might be doing something to sustain some of the other people that cannot afford it. But we dey quick for compare ourselves to country the way they struggle, but have a stable economy and have a developing nation. But we have a small community of less than 7 million people who go not reach down anymore because the one we don't kill Iboku. But we still the complain, say, hey, Salompo, we not get this, we not get that. But we have the resources, we have the support, we're having financial support all over the world, and the government don't claim, say, they have raised billions of leons from corrupt APC politicians, but we yet to see what they've done with it. Not a way when I don't do 4 years of nothing. I think it be skyscraper self now from now on to December for make una launch and for open in January. It might not change the mindset of Sierra Leoneans because you're specifically doing that for a reason now. So, look, we not sit down and say, not to me business. Look, we not sit down and say, me not a politician. Look, we not sit down and say, another salon. Look, we not sit down and say, well, whatever might happen, then they go just know. Because the one day where they come, if they not see, say, we actively involve the whole people are responsible, they will do the same or worse. They will do the same or worse. But for example, if we continue for the put pressure on the people and they within our power now, the one they will get for come back, if not the same, the pressure they escalate. If what we are saying now doesn't make sense, it will make sense. If the government in power remains to be in power, what we are doing now is going to increase. Because it means there is no go in certain areas now. It means we are going to be actively involved in what we're doing now so that people can know that, guess what? We're not going to sit back and allow this to go on and on and on and on and on and we do nothing about it. And people are saying, why now? What's the make not be done to APC? But guess what? Some of you guys don't know. But the reason why we do it now, if not now, what's wrong with that for start now? What is wrong with starting now? What is wrong to effect change now? What is now wrong for, like we say, enough is enough? We need to take back some of the responsibilities of some of the bad practices that we have in Sierra Leone. What is wrong with that?
Yeah,
what
what is the proof say we're not been doing APC?
Now, for those that don't know, but guess what?
Okay,
we've been actively involved online for the past 20 years. And people that knows we know for sure say we've been actively involved with people and where they in our government right now against APC within our power. Then we make begin calling them, but wait, election they come. So then we'll begin calling them of people and we're actively involved with some of the practices that will be doing APC government, then they will understand who's how they come up from. Because when we start naming and shaming some of these people, then go sit back and think, say, oh, it's true, you know. Oh, really? Oh, because the one they will know, they know. The one they will know and they make boku noise. Some of them just get involved in politics 5 years ago. Some don't know nothing but SABP within our power right now. Or another APC. Sometimes they just carry particles a few days ago. We might not own particles, but we've been working actively with these two governments for the past 20 years in Sierra Leone and out of Sierra Leone. And yes, still, then tell you say, no, Jack. Now, no, Jack. Some of una right now as ministers in a salon in this government, you were nothing. And we were hanging around in the UK as equally as you were hanging around in Sierra Leone. And now all me sit down and put things in place for go against what in APC will do. APC bad practices. We organize protest rallies in this country, in Sierra Leone, against APC government. During Ebola, after Ebola, with the sacking of Sansumana, we did everything. Except if you not be involved in politics, then deal. So don't make your noises. Sit down, listen, and watch what's in the happen at salon. If you're happy about it, kudos to you. If you're not happy about it, rise up, do something about it, raise your voice. I'm not saying go physical, abuse people, tell them who they not be, but guess what? You can tell them off in so many different ways. You can challenge them.
And for whole government officials accountable, public servants accountable, it's not a crime.
It's not a crime. It's everybody's responsibility. As long as you're a citizen, you're a taxpayer, you belong to the Sierra Leone community in and out of Sierra Leone, it's your duty. Hey, brah, we don't give you 30 million for can do in our community. What you do, sir? You take and do your host, but the host is not yours. It's a public investment and it should be publicly spent. But anyway, that's enough for me. I want to say thank you to you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Tibo. I appreciate you and all the comments there. And some of the things you highlighted is the result of August 10, where people come out and protest against, and then they got killed. They were called terrorists, and later called victims, and we saw how undignified they treat them, then go lay them to rest. In as much as government public notice say, we will give them a state-led dignified burial. I just want to say, Sierra Leoneans, just like how T-Boy say, let we remember, let we think, let we search, we souls them, and ask yourself question, if I was in that situation, I would be happy for let them treat me that way there. Or if I get a family member, a relative, a friend, somebody who is dear to me, I would be happy if that way they then treat them. If your answer is yes, then that's good. If your answer again is no, then search your soul. The government get to understand, say, propaganda, you know, rhetorical statement that we will just throw here and there will not solve your problem. Killing people will not fix the economy. Killing people, you know, they drive the dollar price can down, before dollar exchange can down. You know, they drive fuel price can down. Just today or yesterday, fuel don't go back up to 20,000 leons. You kill people August 10th, it not change anything. The dollar from August 10th to today don't shoot up to what? Maybe don't go up by another 5,000 or maybe 4,000 from August 10th to date. You cannot blame August 10th protest for it. How many more people are you willing to kill? If you kill all them people, who would you govern, even if you retain power in 2023? But if you kill the people, do you think you're going to go scot-free, or you'll be held responsible when you are no more in office? These are the soul-searching questions we are asking. For those who have lost loved ones, we say, Oshtona, you know, may their souls rest in peace. Let God forgive them, mistakes them. And we pray that the people that we perpetrate the acts, for let we get, according to government accounts, 27 civilians and 6 police officers them, let God judge them accordingly. On that note, I want to say thank you so much, and remind you, I say tomorrow, be at the Odeon at Greenwich, you within Greenwich, and you within London for witness the premier Virgin Mary. Thank you so much, and we're going to be with you again next week. For myself and the team, good night.
for do? Thank you.
He don't be go. For see if you go allow me for take Mary to me for go keep me company.
Adama is finally back from the village. She came back with a child. My teacher may soon find out you're not my brother. Stop coming to the school.
You couldn't present the girl in the school and you come here and tell me she was a girlfriend, but you did not see the girl.
If she's not a witch, I wonder what she is.
According to the test results, your daughter is 6 months pregnant.
Where's the baby?
There is no baby. How can you be so heartless to yourself? Show the man who is responsible so that you can be free.
Who is her husband?
I'm not pregnant.
Tell me.
How for do? Thank you.
He don't be go. For see if you go allow me for take Mary to me for go keep me company.
Adama is finally back from the village. She came back with a child. My teacher may soon find out you're not my brother. Stop coming to the school.
You couldn't present the girl in the school and you come here and tell me she was a girlfriend, but you did not see the girl.
If she's not a witch, I wonder what she is.
According to the test results, your daughter is 6 months pregnant.
Where's the baby?
There is no baby. How can you be so heartless to yourself? Show the man who is responsible so that you can be free.
Who is her husband?
I'm not pregnant.
Tell me.
How for do? Thank you.
He don't be go. For see if you go allow me for take Mary to me for go keep me company.
Adama is finally back from the village. She came back with a child. My teacher may soon find out you're not my brother. Stop coming to the school.
You couldn't present the girl in the school and you come here and tell me she was a girlfriend, but you did not see the girl.
If she's not a witch, I wonder what she is.
According to the test results, your daughter is 6 months pregnant.
Where's the baby?
There is no baby. How can you be so heartless to yourself? Show the man who is responsible so that you can be free.